Now, not many of us would realise it was 42 years ago last month that the first mobile phone conversation was had. Doesn't time fly? Now, we do rely on communication, do we? For instance, if this PA fails, as it does from time to time, in the back of the room we hear the cry, "We can't hear you." But cast your mind back to the first days in aviation and the need for two-way communication then to the ground and to other aircraft. Hot air balloons have been used for centuries, and you can bet your bottom dollar that a note attached around a rock thrown to the ground would have been their chosen means of communication. That and perhaps semaphores. In World War I, aircraft and balloons were at best just observation posts with limited means to get the information back to where it was needed. But in 1915, Morse code was being transmitted from aircraft whilst observers in tethered balloons used the good old field telephone to those connected below. Now, history records that in 1910, just 7 years after the world's first heavier-than-air flight, a radio signal was sent from aloft from a transmitter built by Captain H.Horton to a receiver on the ground, built by Colonel C. Culver. Both were in the US Army Air Force. It wasn't until 1916 that a message was sent between two aircraft. They don't say whether they were actually in flight or whether they were sitting on the ground. And in 1917, voice communication came to be. Now, conflicting claims come to be for the first to use radio in aviation. Conflicting claims from Lieutenant Paul Beck, Earl Enos and Canadian James McCurdy. However, none had invented the radio. People have been working on that from 1860 onwards, and the names Reginald Fessenden, Ferdinand Braun and Marconi figure amongst those. Now we know that aviation communication is as easy as digital communication coming down to the pilot's data link terminal, information on whether the gate's ready for them at Heathrow or whatever. Passengers can make phone calls in flight, who would think it, and Wi-Fi connection to the internet. Now there's 53 airlines at this time in the world that offer Wi-Fi in flight. Sadly not one Australian airline, that is. This may change when we get more Wi-Fi tower communication signals, because Australia's a big place but full of emptiness, and there's thought that the NBN satellites which are coming on board will be the way that they will do that.